from Costco. I think it's better toasted. They're pretty thick pieces.
Gluties.
It's sandwich bread, it says. So, like,
yeah.
it's like 50% thicker than that bread, I think. Good for like a turkey sandwich. A meat sandwich. Is there anything I need to know here?
Just don't talk. And
More.
I'll do it
you
then.
wanna do it? No,
Yeah.
you have been on your plate.
All right, let's start. 2, 1. Go Nintendo Podcast, Webisode 760, the Beware Podcast. The Go Nintendo Podcast is part of the Greenlit Podcast Network at greenlitpodcasts.com. That was for you, Nikki.
Hey, I was ready.
Gonna start my timer.
Timer.
How do I do like a... Oh, never mind. I'm good.
Timer.
Mom Brain,
Stopwatch.
would you tell us about Beware, please?
With pleasure.
Sound like you have pleasure.
She just ate some peanut butter, so she's probably...
With pleasure.
Yeah.
Beware! This immensely dangerous Pokemon possesses overwhelming physical strength. Its habitat is generally off limits. They're 6 feet tall, almost 7. They're almost 300 pounds. Their category is strong arm, and their abilities are klutz and fluffy.
Know what I mean?
Thank you, Mom Brain. What's the matter, Mom Brain? Talk to me. Let it out.
Okay.
You are a liar, and you got talking to your microphone. What's going on with you today?
I'm eating a peanut butter sandwich.
Can you give us the ASMR peanut butter sandwich experience, please? No,
Yes.
don't. No, don't.
just for a second. Just
All right, you get 1 second. All right, that's enough. I'm already grossed out. That's terrible. Hello, Autumnal, Blake, and Roth, and Dre Gamer, and Giant Reggie, and Shawnick the Hedgehog, Nintendo, and Storbaj Corvin. I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. And Freddie Fro, Nico Darunia, and Mom Brain. Hi, Mom Brain.
Hi.
And Joe is cool, and Steel Diver, and whoever else I didn't.
Hi, how are you?
Wow, is that true, Nico Darunia, or did you make that screenshot? Because that is funny. I don't know if ads are playing on Parents Play because there's cursing. And we will be talking about Parents Play. We have a whole bunch of things.
I
to talk
do
about
not
today.
cut off my crusts, but I do rip them off and eat them first because they're my least favorite part.
Doesn't anyone care what I think?
Hello, Josh. How are you doing this week?
A big hello to my fans.
Thanks, Josh. It's terrible. I meant to say hello to Josh at the start of the show.
Shut up. I don't care.
Wow.
And I forgot, but
You burn him.
you burn. Yeah, so we got some things to talk about today before we get into the news.
I'm sorry, too soon. You said news.
Hi, Malak. Let's say I'm going back into my messages to make sure.
Oh, how many years? or something?
It's an anniversary, but because my brain is a mess, I'm going to get the anniversary wrong, and we were just talking about it. Let me scroll through. He deserves the correct 100th drawing
Wow.
for the podcast.
No way! I don't believe it!
It sounds like we might be having buffering issues.
Already?
Yeah, no, I know.
Somehow you'll make it my fault.
Oh, I wasn't even connected. Now I am, but now I'm not. All right, so I wasn't, and then I connected accidentally.
We're going to talk about that too, obviously. But yes, 100 drawings from Crazy Colonel. I can't believe that. How the time flies. I honestly am shocked that it's been that long. Just getting a... It's fine. It's fine. I'm getting messages saying it's fine. I'm getting a message from Vitamin G asking about the podcast.
Well, he wants to be here.
I don't know. So thank you to Crazy Colonel for all his amazing drawings. They've been so fantastic. They've
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
they've really added in something special to the show. I love seeing his artwork every week. I do not tell him what to do. He just has his inspiration and he runs with it. And I know there's certain things that he's wanted to do but couldn't because he had already started working on an idea and then heard something later, and he's like, tell Nikki Hill I apologize for not attempting an idea that you had brought up later on in the show or something like that. But yes, he works his butt off.
Last week I said something, but like, it's his thing.
I know.
Do what you want.
And it's always great to see. And on top of that, just last night, randomly, he gave me 2 pieces of my mom and my dad. And I used them in the latest
He
episode.
gave them to you individually, and you put them both into the thing?
Yeah. Had my dad yelling a curse word, like
Right.
like the Qbert style curse word. But
Wait, Qbert was cursing the whole time?
oh yeah, that guy's mouth of a sailor. I mean, mouth of a weirdo too. That thing's like, I don't know what that thing. I guess that's his mouth. Let's see the word without the white background behind it. So I made a quick little bubble,
so you made his image better.
That's what I was going to say.
He's not.
You said manipulating his images, and I sent him a tweet or a DM this morning, and I was like, I just finished Parents Play. I uploaded it, and I had to add in a text bubble. I hope you're not mad, because I don't want him to be like, oh, I spent all this time on this art, and this guy's going to crap it up with like a Microsoft Paint speech bubble.
Well, what was his background? Because his background wasn't that image, because you put that just for that game. What was the background of the original text?
What? There wasn't one. That's what I was
just-
saying. It was just the Qbert cursing.
Mm.
So yes, thank you to him. Congratulations on 100 drawings. I look forward to all your other crazy drawings. They are so wonderful because they accurately describe at least some part of the podcast. But if you're looking at them and you don't listen to the podcast, you have no idea what's going on.
Oh, wait a second. How many drawings has he done?
100. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. So anyway, yes, there is a new Parents Play available. I spent last night editing it. It is not. My parents sat down to play a different game, which I haven't told them what they were going to play. But right before we started recording, they both saw the Warface icon and mentioned it. So I was like, well, you know what? I guess we'll do Warface. For those who don't know, Warface is an online game. So my parents were out there in the wild, trying their best to get things done in Warface. And to tell you, well, I don't want to spoil anything.
We'll just have to wait.
That's right,
and
Josh.
see.
It might be my favorite episode. It just came together so well. And I had more footage of this episode than any other, but it somehow it got edited down into like 15 something minutes. I was like, boy, this is going to be an extra long episode of Parents Play because listen, as long as the show is working, I don't care if it's low def. We're going to get
You look like Sonic. Like your bandana is bright blue, and it looks like you have.
we're going to get into stuff about the laptop in a minute. Hello, Doom Eternal. But
About your laptop? What happened?
you don't know yet. I'm going to tell you. So yes,
Do you
Parents
know?
Play is available. Warface. Thank you to those who have watched. I'm not going to post on GoNintendo or on Twitter or anything until Sunday, because podcast is today and we do that. So yes, Doom Eternal. That's what I called you. I like to let the podcast do its own thing, but you know, if the show craps out, then maybe I will post it up today.
Hey guys,
Yeah,
I got clothespins in my pockets.
you gotta talk into the microphone.
I have clothespins in my pockets.
Oh, give it a little,
So I guess since you were saying
ASMR podcast.
laptop stuff, I will talk about the laptop stuff right now.
So what?
Cowboy. Here I am.
What happened to your laptop?
Nothing. Beautiful. We were talking about the streaming issues and how we had 2 weeks now where everything went fine, and I'm afraid to move and all this stupid stuff.
Fine-ish.
But now, I don't know. We had a little hiccup today, but everything seems to be okay now. And last week,
what happened?
you were like, well, you've eliminated all the potential problems except the laptop. Maybe it's the laptop. And I was like, yeah, I know. Maybe it's the laptop. It is a bazillion years old. So I'm a real cheapskate, and even if I had billions of dollars, I would be like, I don't want to buy a new laptop until this thing craps out. But I decided it was for the good of the show, and also it's because of the Patreon gang. A huge thank you to them, you guys on the Patreon who are supporting me over there. A new laptop has been put together and ordered, and it will be arriving, as far as I know, this coming week. So next week's show should be on a new laptop. And this laptop is, I think I figured out it was 11 City was still open. So it was their going out of business sale, but that's when I bought it. So yeah, we've been together for a long time, but I think it's time to move on.
I feel like you should send an email to Toshiba and be like, I just want you to know what a fine machine you've made. Like, I mean, really, that's a testament to their craftsmanship, because I don't think there's a laptop that gets used more than that one.
It is used every single day.
I'm going to put it out there right now. Should we have an over-under on how many days it goes before the S button, the S key craps out?
Oh my God. Yeah, you aren't going to need to use that keyboard
I know. I
anymore?
won't need my external keyboard. I will have an actual keyboard on the laptop that will work.
Wow.
The other thing is how long, the over-under on how long before the live stream screws up again. Will it be the first show? Right. I'm so fun.
Can we have an over-under on whether the laptop's actually going to show up this week?
Well, what the hell is that kind of thing to say?
Because that's what usually happens.
What usually
you get
happens?
like excited about something, and it's supposed to happen, and then like you get farted on.
Are you saying?
Yeah, usually.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Don't you? I mean,
So the real question with this new laptop,
What are you buying?
you already said it.
A version of an operating system to another, those kind of things, those kind of stupid hiccups happen.
I was in the kitchen and I heard a sound that I was like, oh God, one of the appliances, like the first something's wrong. And I like follow the sound and I walk in and there's a blue screen of death and a horrible sound. And Rami's just sitting there staring at the computer screen. I was like, is everything okay in here?
Somebody on Instagram, a friend on Instagram, took a picture of their computer getting the same blue screen. Something happened on their computer. It happens.
So maybe this new things or
Josh
something.
is welcome to date whoever he wants, be it robot or human.
We'll just have to wait and see.
So yeah, I'll have to. I also want to say that this has more to do with just live streaming. My laptop is very old and my laptop is very slow, and I do work on it every day. And it's time for it to rest. It needs a long rest. So even if there are stream issues going forward, at least we will know it's not hardware. Then we'll have to look into what it is. I'm hoping
Die, monster.
it's not the case, but we'll find out together. All right, moving on. Also, I have brought back a feature on GoNintendo that I haven't done in years, and it's going to be back for good until it's not back for good. But my every weekday. And then I just got out of the habit of it after doing it for such a long time. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low.
There were 3 of them this week. They are going to be Monday through Friday. And I want to thank you guys because they've gotten really great support already. I'm really surprised, honestly. Not just people commenting saying like, thanks for bringing back the thought, but just interaction and people reading it in general who normally don't read that stuff or don't even know that we used to do something like that. The only difference is
Somebody's having.
I see that.
Buffering.
I am not even
buffering.
I'm not even or I'm not calling them the end of day thought anymore because
it's a problem.
okay, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do.
Except maybe get a new laptop.
Well, if it shows up next week, but Mom Brain already said it's not going to.
I'm just
What happened on the site, but that doesn't happen anymore. There's always somebody covering on the site, so it's just called the GoNintendo Thought. So,
How about you call it My Sharuba?
end of my day thought. My Sharuba. Why would I call it that? Well, you're gonna hit the button at least.
It's because it's your Sharuba. right?
This is
Why-
terrible. So look forward to those. What did I write about? I wrote about the sad state of affairs with Castlevania.
Maybe Josh would like to name this new feature.
Josh, would you like to name this new feature?
I don't want to be here.
Oh,
I gave
okay.
you a shot, Josh.
I wrote about the sad state of affairs of Castlevania. I wrote about how I don't understand how the Life is Strange series never came to Switch. And there's another one in there that I'm forgetting. What the hell was the third one? This is how bad my memory is. I just wrote it this weekend.
Shut up. I don't care.
Yeah, Josh, you tell him.
Somebody wants to get on with the day.
I mean,
Get this news going.
as soon as
You know what I like? They seem to be doing a
Oh, I remember what the other one is.
Crazy Colonel.
People are posting their favorite
Yeah, what would you like?
drawings.
In the Discord,
Retrospective.
Yeah.
a gallery. The third one was about how I'm worried about the music in Streets of Rage 4 because I've heard some tracks that I like, but I've also heard some tracks that make me nervous. So go read those. Let me know what you think. Tell me why I'm wrong or dumb. And yes, I'll tell no Blake that Pro Weenie Burnin' 2019 image is definitely one of my favorites.
You guys, I mean, look, the Weenie Burner was a formative part of my childhood, really.
All right, let's do some news, Nikki Hill.
I gotta find it again.
The smoke coming off the weenie burn. Thank you, Nikki Hill. All right, let's get into our news this week. What were the top stories? First off, there's this guy, Hideki Kamiya, who works at Platinum, and he back when Platinum was in Platinum, they were
Clover.
Very
Well,
good, Nikki Hill.
A little St. Patrick's Day nod. May the luck of the Irish what is it?
Smile?
Smile on you.
Smile on you.
May the luck of the Irish smile on. No, what is it? Is that what he says?
May the luck of the Irish smile upon you.
Yeah,
Isn't that it?
I'm just thinking of the Tim Heidecker one.
Oh, I don't remember. So Hideki Kamiya worked on Okami, among other things. And back in October of 2019, Kamiya took to Twitter to share a video where he said, basically, Okami's coming back. And now he's saying, well, you know, I might have gotten a little ahead of myself there.
2019.
I mean, I don't know how much he would even be privy to that information because he doesn't work at Capcom. He works at Platinum. They're not involved with the remake.
Yeah, I'm sure
Or the
somebody
HD
there
version.
is still friends with him and is like, yo, we're going to do an HD remake.
Maybe. Well, anyway, he has done a more recent interview, and Kamiya says he put that video out there as a way to show interest in creating a sequel to Okami.
Oh.
So he wasn't, you know, he could have worded it a bit better, but he also likes to troll people and likes to get people riled up. So he probably did it more on purpose, but also he probably did it to be like, see, look, people want an official sequel to Okami. So
What about Okami then? That wasn't official? Because it was on the
what?
3D DS.
Did you say what about? Oh, okay. You know what I thought. I thought you said what about Okami
Yeah, I know.
then.
What you thought, yeah.
It's like,
God
I was
forbid
gonna
I
say-
actually say something relevant to the conversation. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I was going to say, what do you mean Okami then? We just talked about Okami. Yes, Okami then. I've been in the chat. Well, we're happy to see you. So yeah, if you want a sequel, basically talk to Capcom. Autumnal Blake says, Okami is a very stylish game and something I'd like to see more of. Let's hope he can make it happen. I agree. But to tell you the truth, Platinum has so much going on right now. And so many then it was a prequel. Yes, there you go.
Oh, was it?
I didn't even remember that, to tell you the truth. But obviously it makes sense if What's-His-Face is a puppy instead of a full-blown wolf.
I didn't know it was what's-his-face.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was...
From what I remember, clearly I need to play the game again. It's right there. I could play it.
Oh, yeah, look at it.
Right there. See it? Yep. We all saw it. No need to keep scanning. It's over there somewhere.
Oh, cool. I'm sure it is, but...
It might be hidden behind them.
There it
Moving
is.
on.
Found it.
Did
I found
you
it
really?
for you, yeah.
Where is it?
Well, I'm going to let you find it.
I can't do that.
We have right now
Nostalgia
a little kid,
and mist.
a little kid, when you go like, oh, I just saw a shooting star. And a little kid goes, Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's right there. I see. We don't need to do that because we have details from that, and we don't need to do that. Oh my God! Yeah, there
Sorry,
was two.
I wasn't listening.
There's two
Oh,
parents play to
John.
talk about. I didn't even realize that earlier in the week because one took longer to edit because of all the screw ups. And I have good news on that. We did my parents play Double Dragon. So if you'd like to see my parents play that,
Perfect game.
and my dad beat people up with bras.
Perfect little theme there. You put out double the parents play, and one of them is Double Dragon.
Shawnick, I wouldn't worry that
Whatever.
the buffering is you. I'm gonna guess it's us. Multiplayer is coming to player in Mario Kart.
up already.
You can compete against
only one more day, Mario.
7
Come on.
other players, whether they're in-game friends nearby or around the world. Race against players worldwide to raise your grade under rules that change daily in standard races and gold races. So there are 3 ways to play. With friends or others nearby, that is one way. Standard races, where you race against players around the world. And then gold races, which are available exclusively to Mario Kart Tour Gold Pass subscribers. Compete with the best.
I'm gonna win.
Compete with the best of the best for the highest grade. So basically, you can enjoy online multiplayer without having to pay for the Gold Pass, which is great. So get ready to strut your stuff online.
Strut your stuff.
Believable says, imagine if back in 2014. Imagine if back in 2014 patched in at a later date long after the fact. And on top of all that it would come with a ridiculous infographic full of convoluted bull shovel rivaling that of Anthem's pre-launch infographic. Something not even worth glancing over or giving any benefit of the doubt. You'd think I was crazy, right? That I was just making some nonsense up? There's no way in hell such a feature would come to pass for Nintendo, of all people, right? Well, guess what? It happened. We are now living in the era of Furukawa's Nintendo. I mean,
What?
yes, you say all those things, and if you presented it like that, I would be like, yes, that is shocking. But you also don't mention in your details that it's a mobile game. So in the Discord, Autumnal Blake is, as we said, sending out all of Crazy Colonel's old podcast drawings, and he just got to one of my favorites. That is Vianetta Velveeta, the stripper.
I don't remember. I don't know if I was here for that.
Vianetta Velveeta.
I feel like I remember talking about it.
The beautiful Vianetta Velveeta.
Oh my god!
I remember him showing me that, and I believe he said something along the lines of like, "Am I going too far?" And I was like, "Oh no!" Like that's definitely one of my favorites.
What is this?
Oh, I think she's a stripper because I said it sounds like a stripper's name, Vianetta Velveeta. And I just, funnily enough,
Bonus
told
points.
Mom Brain I wanted her to make me Vianetta. In the Vianetta Velveeta one?
Yeah.
I don't know when
That
the
was
Jason
before,
tradition started.
maybe
Yeah.
before.
Well, it started after I talked about it on the Patreon, but moving on. Mom Brain, did you have the NES Advantage Controller?
I did not. Was it the thing that clipped?
No. It was the big joystick controller, like an arcade style controller. I had one of those. I believe I got it from my uncle when I was a kid, and it had, a big joystick, 2 big buttons for A and B. It was an official Nintendo product. It had turbo buttons that you could push down to turn on turbo, and each turbo button had a dial. You could turn the intensity of the turbo up or down. It was a really cool controller.
How does that change, like the algorithm of the game, the way the game is played, the turbo?
What do you mean? It's just acting as if the button's being hit by the player more or less.
Oh.
So option with the
Player
D-pad.
1 or
player
player
1 and player
2.
2, as everybody wrote on the back of their controllers. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out Nintendo was actually considering going with a joystick controller as the main
What the heck?
controller on the NES. So somewhere in the alternate timeline, everyone who bought an NES got a controller that had a joystick on it. Very expensive. One of the reasons we would get into the directional pad like a Game & Watch was because the Game & Watch division was right next to us. So it was easy to have them bring over the device and then check it. For a while, we worked on a joystick type of controller, but it didn't work. But we only had this pad type of design for the Game & Watch, so we just put it onto our device just as a test, and it worked well. so we decided to use it. Pretty crazy how the D-pad, which became an industry standard for controllers to this day, almost didn't get included on the NES. We could have had a traditional joystick. Joystick controllers serve a great purpose and are a lot of fun, but they are prone to breaking easy. I still have my original Advantage. I've had it forever, but not sure when I got it. My original NES still works too. Still have to blow on the cartridge, but it works. Yes, I have my original NES and that works. I have my original cartridges and that works. Goodbye, Doom Eternal. Thanks for dropping by. But I don't have my Advantage, and I really wish I had it. But there was a time when, you were a little kid to have back an NES. I don't even know how much an NES Advantage would cost now, but I'd love
Toad
to have
really
one.
looks like. That guy's handsome. Reminds me of Peter Billingsley.
Again, Nikki Hill's referencing the classic Crazy Colonel images that are still flooding the Discord. If you don't go to the Discord, this is the week to at least pop in on the podcast channel because you're seeing all the amazing artwork that Crazy
That's
Colonel has done.
Oh, so sweet.
What? Rob hugging me?
Holding.
So many things. It is.
Hey, Sweetie.
It is. It's huge. There's still stuff coming out from it. Well, we have some details on some particularly interesting things he talked about. He's asked about what it's like being named a, quote, person of cultural merit, end quote, by the Japanese government. That's an official thing that they do over there. Miyamoto was the recipient. And Miyamoto said, games are not created by a single person, so I'm very sorry for receiving this honor personally, the memory way. But since games are like combined arts, that's not really the case. However, I hadn't really gotten a spotlight for a one-man job, so when I think about it, I feel like I met
games.
Hims games
are
good.
made with other people. But some people make their own games.
That is true. Some people
play games with their friends and then decide to play their own game.
Some
loved
games
ones.
are
I
made
fight for
by
my friends.
He really did fight for my friends. I took over
you
your
replaced us,
controllers.
yeah. So easily replaced.
Yeah, some games are made by one
Didn't
person.
replace you though, Josh, did he?
No, not at all.
Never. Would never.
This I really love the way that raw meat looks as Vanna White in the Wheel of Fortune.
I see Autumnal Blake now. These two are just going to talk about the pictures on the show. Miyamoto also talked about Nintendo and sequels. He says, even though Super Mario games make a series, we don't just simplify making sequels. We make one when a new technology shows up. For example, one when a Mega ROM with large capacity showed up, and then one when CPU processing speed has become 16-bit. Once we've seen new ideas and materials that can be realized with a new hardware, we make it. As a result of piling that high for those amount of years, that's not something you see very often. There are certainly other franchises out there that have been long running, that have stellar records, but maybe not running as long, or maybe not as also important to Nintendo because they're of such high quality and people really buy them. I mean, I often think about how crazy it is that Zelda Breath of the Wild is the best-selling Zelda of all time. Now, after all those years of the franchise being around, the most recent new console game is the best-selling one. That is
and
crazy to me.
But it was also the most drastically different one too.
Well, that's not true.
It's not true.
Link to the Past to Ocarina of Time was drastically different.
Yeah, but like they were all like still very similarly
Think about
strung together. This was the first like kind of sandbox Zelda,
the jump
right?
but the jump from 2D to 3D, that's a massive jump. Going from 3D to open world 3D, yes, certainly a huge jump for the series as well, no doubt about it. But I would argue that the jump from 2D to 3D was bigger because you have to you're thinking from flat plane to 3D spatially like that. I can't even imagine how developers tackled that in the first place. That's crazy to go from, a top-down game that has no depth really to creating a three-dimensional experience that people can wander around in. That's nuts. Hello.
Right, but what I'm
Corpus
saying
Muffins,
is
what a great name.
this time they made
2. I don't think people thought that.
no, but it's a sandbox. It's an open.
It
world.
is an
People
open
are
world
loving
game,
that
yes.
stuff.
Yes,
that other game that does
I'm
that.
give or take on open world games. The last GTA was my favorite by far.
Just Cause
I didn't play the newest one, but
No,
the
I
one
know.
before that
the older version.
put a lot of time into that.
and not even like there was. Oh wait, there's a story in this game. All you would do is like
Yeah, right.
grapple hook or whatever cars, and then hang glide everywhere.
That was a lot of fun. King of Mars says Link to the Past will always be my personal favorite. Yeah, previous games, but certainly a big evolution and scope and scale. Moving on, Miyamoto also talked about making fun experiences. He says, if we make something that has really new fun factors not seen anywhere else, it should continue to sell for many years instead of disappearing 1 month after its release. That's why I made it to go that way. Nintendo has a knack for new, and it wasn't a game that came out and really lit up the sales charts like, Grand Theft Auto, for example, or Zelda. But it has been slowly but surely building up a lot of support. We're over, I believe, 2 million sales with that game. So, yeah, Nintendo likes to do fun, different, new, unique experiences, which is not an easy thing to do. Autumnal Blake says, it certainly is important to remember the hundreds of people that work on projects. Smash is a good example of this, with Sakurai getting almost all the credit. I would love to see more interviews with other developers and designers. All right, Nikki Hill, it's about that time. Could you play those spots for us, please?
Oh, that.
If you love classic games, you might want to check out Retronauts, a podcast dedicated to classic games and the culture around them. Every episode, co-hosts Bob Mackey and Jeremy Parrish, that's me, go beyond the nostalgia of the games we all played as kids to find deeper meaning in them, or at least to find interesting things to say. That's Retronauts weekly here on the Greenlit Podcast Network. I'm Jeremy Parrish, and if there's one thing my detractors can agree on, it's that I'm incredibly pretentious. That's why I've launched Alexander's Ragtime Band, a podcast about the most pretentious music on earth, progressive rock. Join me, James Eldred, and Elliot Long here on the Greenlit Podcast Network for a deep dive into the most pompous rock music ever made, from ABWH to Zepp.
Did you think that was going to be the same ad twice? Because that's what I thought.
A little bit, but so Greenlit Podcast Network is the Jeremy Parrish Podcast Network.
Well, Jeremy
He's
Parrish
a hardworking fella.
heads up the network. Like he is as far as my understanding. Yes, I put them on the soundboard.
I'm interested in this.
And I played the second ad and I was like, oh no, did I put the same one on there?
Oh,
But
you
I
messed
did
it
not.
up.
It was a double Jeremy. The old, standard double Jeremy.
Jeremy Baramy.
Much since the original Kirby's Air Ride release, there's only been one Kirby's Air Ride. It was on the GameCube. A unique racing game, and fans have been like, how has it been so long without a sequel to Kirby's Air Ride? Well, in this most recent
much yet to learn.
issue of Famitsu, Mr. Sakurai answers some fan questions, and one of the fan questions was, why don't we have a sequel to Kirby's Air Ride? And he says,
That's a good question.
That's one of my favorite sound clips. He says, many great games have sequels, and knowing when to release sequels takes some know-how regarding games' maturities. It's difficult to deliver on the images that people have in mind for sequels. So maybe he's saying, we know you want a sequel, but I don't know what we would do first. He's worked on numerous Kirby games. He's, as I said in the post, he brought back Kid Icarus and made a sequel to that. So why Kirby's Air Ride in particular hasn't gotten a sequel, we didn't really get an answer. Sokar says he can't do it anymore now that he no longer works at HAL. It's HAL to decide whether a sequel is in order or not. Besides, the guy clearly hates sequels. The only reason that he's working on Smash is because that's the only series he's known for, and that is the one that prints him the most money. Once he's done with Ultimate, however, it's doubtful if he will do another Smash game. Personally, I'd rather he do a new game instead. I would love to see something brand new from Sakurai. And Smash Brothers?
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Josh is real salty this afternoon.
I know. I think has something to do with, let's say, that side of the table.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Maybe he just is really not looking forward to daylight savings.
This is
Or whatever.
this is the bad one.
Well, I mean, it's not. The outcome is good because then it stays, it's lighter later, and that's great.
It'll be lighter later anyway.
It's just that
It's faking it. We're just faking it.
it makes for a really Garfield kind of Monday.
It really does.
Why would you say that?
Josh hates Garfield. Everybody knows that. Miyamoto, more from the Miyamoto interview. He talks about how he no longer is upending the tea table, which is something Miyamoto has been known to do and has been a bit of a meme with him. He, for a while there, would go into a game like after it had been development for a while, somewhere in mid-development, and be like, nope, this is all wrong. We're doing everything over, and just that's it. He says he doesn't really do that anymore. He says, quote, I might say something in the early stages of development, like, see, the whole game will pan out. By changing the structure of things when a game isn't turning out right, I upend the tea table when I can see how things like the visuals and the merits of the game can change. If I can't see a clear vision for the game, then that doesn't mean something shouldn't be changed. After all, you can't see all the key components unless you're the director. So he's mellowing out a little bit. He's still putting his input. I'm still waiting for my tea table upending game, Shiggy. I believe somebody made a tea table upending game. I believe it's like I don't think it's on traditional platforms. I just think it's on computers. But yes, it's about an angry dad that just flips tables.
I heard the spaceship in Star Fox was actually supposed to be a tea table. So every
Mario games.
You do that.
Talking about Mario games in general. And the essence of Mario games. It says, when it comes to Mario and making games related to Mario, I'm always looking for some kind of time after a few times. Well, let's just say that I have the right to say nope. I've been keeping a close eye on Super Mario Run. Nobody else can decide just how far we can. The standard sense of Mario is that he won't murder someone, but he isn't good enough to not smash bugs. This is engraved in everyone's mind.
I thought you were going to say butts.
Someone...
Smash those butts.
Some worried about the mischievous Mario in Smash Brothers, but after giving it a cute sound when he gets punched, they all said, this is fine. So yes, there is, they have their opinions of Mario and things Mario can and can't do, and Miyamoto's starting to think like, well, maybe he should be able to do some of these things. This is really cool. I am going to mention this. He talked about making games not to just have sales successes. Says, if you make something for the sake of selling, then it'll have all kinds of failures. The most important thing to do is to make something you believe is fun rather than something you would sell. If you try making something that sells, it eventually ends up becoming like something that's already out there. If what you make looks like something that might already be out there, then it won't sell well. That's why Nintendo makes things that have yet to be seen. I've been thinking about we don't need to read the rest.
That's like a big responsibility too, to make something that's yet to be seen. Like I imagine you get serious like creative block.
Yeah, it's not, it's not as easy as saying, let's do something so nobody's ever done, and then you just start working on it. I would imagine the developers have pitch meetings where they're like, hey, anybody have an idea? Anybody have any considerations for games or something you want one of our characters to do? And, they gather notes somehow and sift through things, and they find a few points that interest them, and they expand upon it from there. So, yeah, Nintendo does do a lot of things that other companies have never done as far as video game companies go. And they're also willing to take the risk because
with a bunch of people trying to train dogs, just saying their names over and over and over and over.
Riff Silver says, love interviews like this. Miyamoto's insights are always fascinating. What a legend. Yeah, we don't get to hear this much from him this in depth very often, so it is cool to see this stuff. North American downloads.
Luckily, then we get a whole week of just Miyamoto tops.
This week, the interviewer just slowly backed out of the room, and he's still talking, closes the door behind him. This week in North America, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. Murder by wrong. I was going to say murder by the dozen.
Murder she numbers.
Murder she numbers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Also available is After Party, which is made by the people. Oh, no.
After Porty.
I see it.
Fake name or
of
something.
War, Bleed Complete Bundle, Breeder Homegrown Director's Cut, Darts, This is literally the name of the game. Dude, stop. That's the name.
Wow.
Thank you.
Did you plan that?
No. Flight Sim 2019, Ib and Ob, Chirobotica. That's a great name, Chirobotica. Langrisser 1 and 2, Lost Horizon, Save Koch, Swordbreaker the Game, Syrup, and the ultimate
I'm sorry,
sweet
save crotch?
Koch.
Okay.
Mayor Koch. Ed Koch.
At Koch.
Syrup, the ultimate sweet troubleshooter. Unlock the King. Welcome to Primrose Lake and Wonderling. Did the music in the game, but it's very notable. Also, there's people. It's a very cool idea altogether. It's like a Phoenix Wright style mystery adventure, but it also has Picross in it. You get like clues, and the clues are handled through Picross, which is a really cool idea. Nikki Hill, it is that time.
Good luck.
Thanks. All right, let me get through this. This week's downloads for European downloads for this week. Avocado, which is a game where you go around collecting and cuddling avocados. The story goes on. Amoeba Battle, which I still think is a funny name. Baron, Fur is gonna fly, or Baron. What do you think?
I'm gonna say Baron.
Baron. I Am Ball. I Am Ball. That's the name of the game. I Am Ball. Syrup and the Ultimate Sweet. I like it.
Wow, Porpoise Muffin says, I used to burn the podcast as CD so I could listen in the car back in college. That's amazing. That is amazing. Thank you for that. Now,
Did you save
Thank you
them
so
or
much.
did you use rewritable CDs and copy over them?
just the same one every week till it melted.
Dude, stop. Chirobotica. I heard that one before. Lost Horizon.
Porpoise Muffin said CDR, not RW. So
do you have a stack of
wanna
these
show?
somewhere?
Yeah, right.
Or when you were done listening to it, did you fling it out the window at somebody?
Send them to us. We'll frame them, hang them up in the podcast room.
We'll paint them gold.
Yeah.
Gold albums.
And we'll hang them from our rearview mirrors.
That way the birds won't fly into our windshields, right?
What?
You never do that? You never fly if you hang CDs or DVDs?
Why you have to say that? Why do you have to talk about birds flying into windshield?
Because
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
Wait, what happened? When did that happen?
Didn't you hear that story? When we were driving to Delaware recently, and
oh no,
you really haven't heard this story?
I didn't know a bird.
We were driving to Delaware, as you know, and
Vitamin
there was
G was in the back seat, and I was driving.
There
and
was
Rami
a
was the passenger.
vulture in the middle of the road eating a carcass, and there was a car coming towards us, and we were going in the other direction. So both cars are driving towards the
what, 2 lanes here?
vulture, yeah, from opposite directions.
Like Bear Tavern
and the vulture
Road.
was like, "This meal is too good." So Mom Brain was expecting the bird to got like the last feather on the bird's wing like glanced the windshield. It was like nothing. And Mom Brain's like, "Did I kill it?"
And I closed my eyes because I didn't want to have the vision of it being smashed in my head forever. And they assure me that it was. When I opened my eyes, I couldn't see.
That was a really great story.
It was so upsetting.
All right, Nikki, he'll continue on, please.
Ib and Ob unlock the King after war. I think that's what POW stands for as well. Maybe Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. Is that new or is that an old game?
It is a remake of the original from the GBA.
Wow. Which Koch is one of the distributors of another game that I've already read on this list, but I'm not going to be able to find
Coke?
it.
I don't know.
Could be.
Also, as I said, it's about Mayor Koch. He heard that Judge Judy is quitting, and he's like, "Hey, is Mayor Koch still alive? Maybe I shouldn't even be talking about this." Former mayor Ed Koch.
I think he's still alive.
He heard that Judge Judy's quitting her show, and he's like, "Listen, I'm primed for a comeback. I want to take over."
So you're making this up. He didn't really say this.
Yeah, I'm telling you what the game is about. Save Koch. He's saying save Koch. He was the original People's Court man.
Yeah. Okay. But still.
Now that Judge Marilyn Milian is doing it, so he can't do that one.
Second time someone talked about Judge Judy in front of me today.
You remember when you got in a taxi in San Francisco or something, and the driver was like, I just had Judge Judy in the car, and now I have you.
Oh, I do remember that. Yes.
And
what an honor.
the
for
car
that
smelled
person.
like farts, right? Because she spent the entire time farting.
No, it smelled like pee because that was the name of her book. Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
That's what the person that I heard talking about her this morning said.
Oh my God.
So it's time to start reading.
So I
book.
peed in a taxi, long story short.
Right.
Go on, please.
Do you ever get in your car after you've driven home?
Hold on. Save it. Let's finish European releases.
Swordbreaker the game. And that was it.
Okay, now go ahead.
Do you ever like get in your? I mean, my commute home isn't very long, but like, I'll like commute home and then get out of the car and come inside and do something, and then get back in the car maybe like 20 minutes later, and the car just smells like sad old farts, like stress.
Are there happy fresh farts?
Yeah, all the time.
Martin
Here
Stuff,
comes one.
Martin Stuff says, not much for me personally, but maybe that's for the best as I to continue that on with video games. And then Miyamoto said this was actually an idea for the Switch as well. They wanted the Switch to be an item that wouldn't look weird at the center of a family. We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about
Oh man, there's so many ways you could take that.
We'll talk about this. He also says there was a period where anyone could enjoy games in their own ways, regardless of the game's intended presentations. The late Satoru Iwata said that he wanted to bring back the anything goes feeling, which is what led them to create the Wii.
That's the sad.
At some point,
I totally agree with in the GameCube, PS2, Xbox era, where a lot of them were very made in a very specific way to play. Like they were taking themselves very seriously. They were given very specific rule sets, whereas older games were more like, which is what led them to a whole bunch of the weird stuff on the Wii. Nowadays, I think games are more like that again. There's games that are completely based on that, like Minecraft. You do whatever the hell you want in Minecraft. And
what's an older game that you could do whatever you wanted?
well, they're talking about like experimentation in, like, I'm trying to
the bedroom.
Yes,
That's right.
No, like
I'd like to try some baloney play today.
I'd like to try some vulture play today.
Just come over here and let me lightly touch you and then scream at the top of my lungs.
I basically there's another part of the interview where he's talking about how like people make their own ways of fun in a game, like running through and seeing if they can make it without jumping on. Just listening to the soundtrack.
That's
of
my
that,
jam.
Yesterday. All right. Sokar says, despite his involvement being less, he still contributes enough that makes me want to yell at those who think they're old guard around that can facilitate that stuff. So.
Everyone in the chat is saying hello to Vitamin G. They're kind of shocked because the stream is lagging, and they're like, all of a sudden, there's like a fourth person here.
We're gonna skip that one. Can I get a drum roll, please? The Super Nintendo PlayStation, the only prototype in existence, has sold for $380,000. Nintendo made a terrible decision, and it led to the creation of Sony's own PlayStation.
I am impressed.
So there is a prototype out there, and it is now sold for $380,000. But we don't.
Thank God someone has that much money.
Yeah, right. Well, here's the
Spend
worst
on
part:
that.
the person that owned it was given an offer before this auction, and they were offered $1.2 million, and he said, "No, I'm putting this baby up for auction. I'm going to make way more." And now he made way less. So.
There wasn't like a reserve on it?
No. HG Mule says,
Yeah.
Remember when the owner
I try Vitamin G and nobody appreciates it like you do.
Remember when the owner was originally offered $1.2 million? Hideki Kamiya, Nikki Hill, you played Beautiful Joe, right?
That is not correct.
Oh, you didn't really? Wow. I thought you did. I know Kirby. Again, another game that was made by Clover, which doesn't exist anymore. Many of those people are at Platinum. And lots of people would like to see a new Beautiful Joe, but that can only happen if Capcom gives the green light because they own the franchise. And it doesn't seem like they're doing anything with it. So people have been asking Hideki Kamiya from Platinum if he would like to do Beautiful Joe 3. And he says he does, but he needs the help of fans. He said, through his translator, if enough people actually reach out to Capcom and propose it, it might happen. Kamiya says he can't do it alone. So if you guys really want to rally people and get them together, then he would love to make the game. So we have to start spreading the word. If you want a new Beautiful Joe, we have to harass Capcom about it endlessly just for the chance of it happening. Ben Golden Triforce says, it would be impressive if we got Scalebound, Beautiful Joe 3, and Okami 2 to happen all at once. Yeah, I don't think
What was the
that's gonna
first
happen.
game?
Scalebound was the game that was a Microsoft exclusive developed by Platinum that was in development for multiple years, and then they canceled it. Just scrapped it. It was like a huge
Loss for Microsoft.
it was a huge loss for Platinum, really. Microsoft has way more money than games.
Where everybody knows our name.
Like play the game, all the games that have just been like, canceled. So like
Project Hammer, this game you just mentioned that I already forgot the name. Scalebound.
And that's pretty much all I have for right now. But
come play both the games.
Yeah, but I mean, there's been
Me and you, let's do it. How are we gonna do that?
Oh no, I wasn't talking about that. I just meant let's do it.
All right. Sega has announced that even though South by Southwest has been
here for a half hour.
Sega for
Licking the seat.
Sega for the last few years now.
Is that how you get coronavirus? No.
What?
Licking toilet
How you
seats?
get a good
I
meal?
mean, that's definitely
It's not going to
a
help.
good way to get
God, like you can't disprove it.
I can't disprove that God doesn't eat off the toilet.
I can't
wrong
disprove
with
the
you?
fact that God has coronavirus.
Make them read these English scripts anyway.
Oh, so
So
it's like
painfully-
WWE.
yeah, it's like
champions.
Oscar. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's painfully awkward.
But
And then,
also-
which I can also appreciate because it happens to us. There's technical issues. They'll go to play video and there's no sound, or it won't play.
We used to have scripts for the podcast.
Never. I
Remember
don't know what
that?
you're talking about.
Oh man.
Never remember.
We had to print out 5 copies and like
Hello, Ice Grove. Thanks
we'd
for
make
joining
notes.
us. Sonic panel content to you in an all new format this April. So they haven't said what the format is. I would imagine something like a direct.
We're sending out books. Period. I don't know. They're just going to sell books.
Everybody turn to page 468 on your Sonic Bible.
But also, wasn't it
We're
like?
seeing the Green Hill Zone hymn.
Wasn't it also that they those South by Southwest events, like they never had new information. Like all the information has already been out. Like,
they always announce new stuff.
Sonic is fast.
Sonic news is in. We have Clock Sonic, and he is fast. They had they announced Sonic about the world's greatest movie, Sonic the Hedgehog. Colma says Sega Direct. Yeah, that's what I imagine it's going to be like. Their own take on a Nintendo Direct. And then finally, the Wonderful 101 remastered Kickstarter has closed. And it has amassed $2.25 million, which is just a bit more over the $50,000 that they were looking for. So the Wonderful 101 Remastered is indeed coming to Switch. It is also coming to PS4 and Steam. It's, I think they said April or May, something like that. So very soon. And there's a whole bunch of stretch goals in there, including some orchestral recordings now of like the main theme and one other song. Plus the new content that we were talking about, Nikki Hill, the Lucas, whatever it is, screen cap of the stream having garbled images. And he says, it's the first time I noticed Nikki Hill has two hands.
Virus.
It was that's the first sign of coronavirus. You get another hand.
I'm surprised more people haven't mentioned this. It's not the fever. It's not the sniffly nose.
Coughing.
It's the second hand.
You grow the second hand to catch the cough.
That's
and
true.
to spread more germs. That's how it
Oh,
spreads so
that's- hey,
quickly.
you're
You've got
right.
3 hands.
And what happens is people don't remember which hand to catch the cough in.
That's
They
right.
also
And
don't
then-
remember which hand was the
and then
original
off we
hand.
go.
It's all over.
And
So
they
yes,
tell two friends.
And so on.
it's a lot harder to
2.25
keep 3 hands clean. I got to go through a lot more soap.
2.25 million. And also, we still don't know if Kickstarter, who was like, I'm so excited to see this game coming back. I'm a big fan. And they said they were Cisco. It's the internet. Everybody lies about everything. So everybody's like, yeah, of course you're Cisco. Thank you, Nikki. Let's talk about what we've been playing. We'll start with you, Vitamin G, because I know one thing you've been playing.
Thank you. I still play a lot of Rocket League. I just finished Luigi's Mansion.
You beat it?
I beat it.
Oh!
The first one or the third one or the second
3.
one? 3.
My apologies.
Okay.
I just like to clarify.
I liked it.
I'm so easily.
I thought it was a little repetitive, personally.
Mario.
To make Luigi such a goober.
That's his character.
Biggest goober.
Bingo.
But I just started playing Undertale. It
I didn't mean to hit it.
that was yeah. There are definitely parts in the game where, unlike many games where you're told to do something and then you just decide not to do that. And I'm not sure what would have happened. Like one character told me like stay here till I come back, and I was like, that seems ridiculous, so I'm just gonna leave.
I know the part you're talking about, and I stayed there for a while, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go.
I'm like, I think I know games. Battled what's his name, one of the two skeletons, the dopey skeleton.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Why can't I think of his name?
Starts with
Comics.
It's
Isn't
the
it
Sands, maybe?
It's not Sands.
Let's also sit here silently until you think about it.
No. Is that
And
all
I'm
you
gonna do
play?
this.
La 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 la.
Yes, I think so.
It's
Yes.
another font name, but what was it?
I'll think of it. Nikki Hill, what have you been playing?
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Mom Breen, what have you been playing?
Zip. What about you, Ron?
Did you know you can play Tetris for free
Is
on
this Dashi?
Tetris.com?
No, it's not Joshy. It's Josh Grobot.
Oh. Josh Grobot. Oh, that's good.
That
is
Nikki Hill
good.
thought of it. It's a great name.
That is.
It is coming to Switch later this year.
Wait,
I know
what are you
told
playing
me
it on?
about it, and I
PC.
don't
Mhm.
even remember it now.
You were very grumpy.
This sounds like it was.
Turned your back and went to sleep.
Not even like not at all.
It was you because I didn't want to play the game.
And you are trying to jump up to the top of this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Whatever. And he has to climb up a mountain. Did I ever show you that game? It's
No.
you'll probably
I
remember.
feel like I'd remember that.
Yeah.
It's designed to be super frustrating and difficult.
That sounds great.
And Jump King takes the same approach where you have to jump to the top of this thing, but your jump, you hold down the jump button and there's no meter, but there's a certain point where your guy will not jump any higher. So for each jump you're going to do, you can't adjust in the air. You just pick the direction that you're going, and you have to hold the button down long enough to make the jump, not overshoot it or not go,
Much
not
like-
fall.
Hands. Are you like?
Yeah.
Swung
Heave Ho.
Oh my god, that game was so good.
Yeah.
Yes, Heave Ho is an example of a game that is not difficult to play, but you can get yourself in some
so
situations.
fun.
But yeah, Jump.
They told.
I have made it to. There's like I climbed up to a cathedral, and the cathedral's like the first part in a long time. Also falling down from there are very slim, so I
that's
feel like
nice.
safe in this area.
You feel
I've
safe in the church?
Yes, I've climbed my way up through the cathedral, out the roof, and at the
It's not fun.
that will be the most proud I am of beating a game, because it is really challenging, and the feeling of climbing up 30 different screens of perfect jumping and missing once and falling down like 2/3 of the way is so terrible. Same thing with Bennett Foddy. It was the same thing with the guy in the cauldron. There was literally like, I want to say 85% into that game. You could make one wrong move and put yourself right back at the beginning of the game. So wherever you stop playing is where you're saved at.
Which includes the
Pokemon,
list.
The top of
Aim.
yeah, everybody's names. I also played a game that made me feel absolutely terrible, and I need you guys to play. It's
Oh, good. So we can all feel. That
but
sounds awful.
it doesn't count unless you shoot them when they're in the air, and if you like shoot someone, then like
Why
obviously
does this
there's
make you
blood and
feel
everything,
terrible?
and it's just
Because these people
It's
are
very
just skiing,
awkward. Yeah,
and
it's
you're
very
there
weird.
just to
Awkward to
murder
shoot.
people.
I love the idea of like having to shoot something while it's in the air and moving. Like I like the skill that goes into that, but it's just very awkward that it literally feels like an Olympic event, and you're like a mass murderer that just
That's
is like
going to
sitting out
be
on
the next
grassy knoll.
game that some
How is-
kind of murder is going to be blamed on.
How is this any different from GTA, where you just run over people?
because
Nothing.
you're at an event.
Stop it.
What do you want me to lie? I'm being completely honest. It feels.
Story to GTA, like, because
Oh yeah, GTA has a huge. Are you kidding
yes, I understand that there's a story, but me running over 55.
me? It's just to kill innocent people.
Mhm. So is it more disturbing when the game makes me do it, or that I choose to do it?
I would say choosing to do
Yeah.
it is more.
Uh-huh.
But
What's wrong with you?
in Ski Jumper, it literally the whole point of the game is something that is uncomfortable. It's weird. About literally you go into a supermarket and shoot people, and that's the game. Or you go to I don't.
There's a little.
Any
I kind of
situation-
feel like
I
there's
can
something
do that in
disturbing about this.
GTA.
You can do it.
Market Murder Simulator.
Questions to GoNintendo questions at gmail.com.
Where?
Go Nintendo questions at gmail.com.
Thank you.
They could be about Nintendo. They could be about video games in general, or anything you want. This comes from Autumnal Blake, and he's got another round of rapid fire
Oh, no,
questions.
Blake.
Nikki
Always
Hill,
gets
would
his
you like to go
questions in.
first to get it out of the way?
I hate this. You got to let me think a little bit, but go for it. No,
Pearl or Marina from Splatoon?
Pearl.
Best flavor of Dorito?
Ooh, spicy nacho cheese.
Ooh, all right, you're done. Nikki Hill, are you ready to go?
are they the same questions? No.
What does a Pikachu like to eat?
Other Pikachus.
Suppose Mario was to become a chef. What is his signature dish?
Turkey.
I really thought you were going to say
Turkey.
Pikachu, but
Oh.
the turkey joke is even better. If you could record an episode of the podcast anywhere in the world, where would you pick?
Back in that garden in LA, that Japanese garden.
How often does Link wash his hat?
His hat?
Yeah.
I don't think he's washed it once.
Ooh, I agree with that. Mom Brain. What happens if you drop
That's a
Kirby
good question.
from a 5-story building?
Like the person or the character?
Just answer the
Can't
question.
answer a question with another
Okay, we're
question.
gonna go with the character. He makes a nice little squeak sound.
Favorite hot drink?
Coffee.
What did Doug Bowser have for breakfast?
Pop Tarts.
How many states make up Australia?
Yes.
50.
That's the answer, right? All right,
That's a
my
good
question.
question.
How many marbles make a collection? 40. 40 marbles. What comes in a bag of marbles? 40 marbles? It's
Right.
40.
Like a cool
I got
40.
two.
My favorite Aggie. That's the questions. Thank
According
you.
to Autumnal Blake, Australia is made of 6 states and 2 territories.
There you go.
Right.
The answer was 50. actually.
50.
And we have our Patreon
6 plus
question.
2, if I recall.
Singfield66, thank you for your support on the Patreon. If you want to learn more about the Patreon, which is you are on a team, what would be the killer new features? Revolutionary controls, VR, and what would you call it? I don't care. I mean, like,
And it'll be the Nintendo Stench.
And let's move on.
I
Music?
don't know what new features. I mean, I do love VR a lot about the local multiplayer experience, and VR kind of takes away from that. So I'm not saying VR is a bad thing. I don't know. I'd have to see what Nintendo does with it. What features would I want?
This is also the generation where we're going to have the system that dispenses Skittles, right? They dropped the ball on the Wii.
Well, I
Wii
mean,
U.
going back old podcasts, we had
That's what we talked about.
That's what's important to me.
All anyone cares about is these days, it feels like, not necessarily with the Switch, but with the PlayStation Xbox, is power.
You know, it's so
And-
Series X has, this is going to be completely wrong, but it's like 11.4 teraflops of, and I was like,
Teraflop.
I don't care.
You know,
I don't care. I just want to play games. Back in the day, though, when I was a youngster and I was playing games, like kids were talking about.
Yeah.
Like when something fails, it's a flop.
Yeah, definitely. Or like
Well,
trout
flop
flops.
also has another meaning.
I'm
But
trying to
yes.
think of how to phrase this. I don't know if what is in my head is going to come out.
Like it was the first time that as you were killing enemies, the bodies weren't disappearing because like they could handle the power of bodies like piling up or whatever. And it was like, wow, like I can leave this area. I can like walk all the way over here, come back, and they're still there. They didn't disappear. And like for some reason that was
Yeah, I know.
exciting.
Like that's what you're gonna do in the game. Like
Yeah.
3 hours later, go back and be, oh, I want the power of today's console only is what allows us ski sniping.
So wait, I
Could be done
did have a question
before.
about ski snipers. Ski snipers.
Ski snipers by. Wow, out of that thing.
Thanks, Barry.
It doesn't stay bloody because the Switch just isn't that powerful. I mean, it doesn't stay bloody just because it doesn't.
Well, I mean,
I'm very excited for you to play this game.
I guess what
not
I'm
lying.
saying, super successful because it was just
Series X, we'll see where they're at. But you make a really good point that there are people who grew up playing games and play games now, but they don't have the time to go into 100.
In the email. No, let's hear.
Jurassic Park?
No.
Shoot, I really thought that was it.
Well, you were wrong.
This is like the Breakfast Club or something. Is it a Legend of Zelda?
You know this.
I do know this. This might be the first one I've ever known.
Do you want a hint?
Yes.
It's on the Switch.
Duh.
Okay, it's Nintendo.
Is this Mario Odyssey?
That is correct. Super Mario Odyssey.
Great job.
I did it.
That was Odyssey on the
Finally.
Switch from Thermostatomometer.
Been doing this for
Well, I'm
15
glad
years.
that the audio it's very familiar. Is it first party?
I don't think so.
Go ahead, I don't know.
Citus?
Terrible that I don't know if I've only posted about it or
And
played
it
it. Some kind of Castlevania?
No.
Some kind of Resident Evil?
Yes.
Okay, what system?
Cube.
All right.
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil
No.
0.
No.
Resident Evil. Just Resident Evil.
No.
Okay. Resident Evil 2.
No.
3.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow, how'd you get that? Like,
Good job.
It was Resident Evil
How
3
timely, 'cause
Nemesis on the
the
Cube.
remake of Nemesis is coming out very soon.
And it was from Andy the Zombie. Here's one from our friend down under, Autumnal Blake.
Where there's 50 states.
Never heard of this guy.
Hotel Dusk. Is this a DS Castlevania?
No, this is another music game. I'm sure of it. I know this. What system? Switch?
Mm-hmm. Here comes one from Glitter Bubble 3.
I played a lot of that game. Oh yeah, turn it up.
Is this a skateboarding game of some sort?
I mean,
This is what I
it's not in
skateboard
the
to.
name, but there's possible skateboarding in the game.
All right, so what is this? Super Nintendo?
Yes.
I'm gonna guess it's licensed.
It is.
Yeah, because it's bad. It's Ren and Stimpy.
Nope.
I'm gonna guess. Is this Wario's?
No.
Gunman Clive?
No.
Govman.
What is this? A portable?
Hello, Govman.
64.
Why do I know this? All right, it's Midwestern N64.
I'm gonna say it's. I can't say that it's Midwest.
It's. I'm gonna go with Cruisin' USA.
Yes. 9.
Luigi's Mansion.
No.
Kind of sounds like that, right?
What system?
Guns, Gorn, Cannoli.
64.
64. I
Wave
would have
Race.
never guessed that.
Nope.
This sounds good quality.
Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Is it really? Wow.
Is this from the movie?
No,
How do you know this?
I had that game.
Do you really? Wow! Wow!
I rule.
I would have. That's
Well done.
amazing. That's amazing. You were meant to.
Footloose, the movie game.
Negatory.
Lost Boys, the video game.
No.
Goonies, the video game. That actually was a game, wasn't it?
Yeah, Goonies too. Or Stardew Valley.
Nope.
What the heck do you play? Baby games.
Animal Crossing.
I don't mean that.
Nope.
It's just like the way you said that. What the heck?
What Fortnite?
Nope.
Okay, I'm out then.
Oh, come on. Don't give up so easily.
No. I mean, it doesn't sound like what I would expect.
Not a bad guess.
New Super Lucky's Tale.
Really?
Okay, all right. I haven't had a chance to play the game yet. Yes, we played a demo of it.
Okay, well, I mean,
You played the skiers. Then
Listen.
maybe you can play some Lucky Tale.
Sniping skiers is
Super
my
Not Lucky's
passion.
Tale.
Why don't you listen to some music instead of being a murderer?
I'll put
guys,
that on
there's
next
one
time I'm
song left
sniping
today.
skiers.
and it's from Wired.
Okay. We got some kind of.
Prince of Persia.
No.
Yeah, this is going to say.
Shantae?
I mean,
Sure, but
America, the game.
it's on the Switch.
Now I'm out.
An RPG?
Okay, I hear you now. I feel like this could be like a Jason Bourne kind of thing.
holy crap, it's Jason Bourne.
I remember it was
He doesn't say crap, but
What is that?
that's the clip.
From a movie?
From Jason Bourne movies where the guy's like watching a computer screen with.
That down.
No, the Super Lucky was the other.
Oh,
figure.
sorry.
You didn't get Citus. Iridocyclitis.
We passed.
I guess we won't do an after show today since the stream is so garbled. But like
Listen
I said,
up, you
at least-
buttheads. Don't forget to wash your hands.
garble.
Wow.
And if
next week, new laptop.
and if
hopefully.
you observe daylight savings, don't forget to turn your clocks ahead this weekend. Although you may be listening to this after clocks have turned ahead. So if that's the case, don't turn them ahead again, or else you'll be an hour ahead of everybody else.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.
We're still live. Well, I guess we can try
Group
the
photo.
well, yeah, we'll do the group photo.
Is that
Move
a
around a
thing?
little bit.
That's good. We're good. Yeah, I mean it's going to be garbled, but all right. I guess we'll just end it here. Yes, next week should be new laptop, and we will
Who
find
is?
out definitively what is causing the problem with. I don't get it, man.
Oh, look at
I
that.
don't get it. It came out not so bad.
After
Came
all
out
that
not so bad.
garbled business, he actually got a good photo.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Still.
Take it easy. Play some games. Hang out with friends and family. Rest, relax. You deserve it. We'll see you next week. Goodbye,
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.